Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM1, April 30th, 2021. We started off with quiz number 5 on transformations. So if you missed it, please contact me as soon as possible to arrange a time to make this up. Okay, so last lesson we talked about perpendicular angles. And you might be wondering, if I'm going to be a baker or a chef, why do I care about perpendicular angles? Well, as you can see, when you're making cake, you want perpendicular angles so that it's not going to fall apart, that it looks beautiful. And look at all these different shapes, cool shapes that deals with different angles. And even more so, if you're thinking about being a chef, here's a video.
I mentioned that on average, all round knife you should be sharpening at 15 degrees angle. Yet, it's not always the case. We start with some blue fridge theory. Okay, so this is a knife. This is the section of the knife. This is called the edge, and the edge is composed of two bevels. One, two. At least in the case of a Western knife, because for Japanese knives, sometimes they have. So, for example, if this is 15 degrees, this is 15 degrees, even though the overall all-inclusive angle right here is 30 degrees. When people mention a sharpening angle, they in fact refer to the angle of one bevel. So in this case, 15 degrees.
Okay, so did you hear him talk about angles and degrees? Well, that is going to be what we are going to be talking about. And if you were to, this is from a real source, type of knife and tools, the recommended angle of sharpening them is 30, 35 degrees, 25, 30 degrees, and so on and so forth. Very different. Like when you see manuals with degrees, are you going to understand what they mean? Do you have some idea in your head? What are they talking about? And even just a cookbook, after peeling the carrot, placed on a cutting board and chopping block, holding the carrot firmly, use a sharp knife or cleaver to cut the food at 60-degree angle. Well, I hope you understand what 60-degree angle is. Okay, you're going to be coming across this in many different professions, the angle measure and the degrees. If you are into construction, what about roof pitch diagram chart? Okay, how to determine the roof pitch. Roof pitch is really how sloped your roof is. Okay, so and it is very much like your slope triangle. It is rise over run. Pitch is defined as rise over run. And you can have 12 degrees or 0 degree is when you have 0 out of 12 or 1 out over 12 when the rise over run is 1 over 12 is 4.76 degrees, and when the rise over run is 2 over 12 it's 9.46 degrees, and so on and so forth. Okay, so and you can see the different types of roof that you could create. Okay, and when you are being asked to create certain angle of roof, you need to follow that, right? So you're going to come across that in construction as well, and many more. What else? If you're driving, you're going to see signs like this. This is a sign that tells you how sloped the road is, and it tells you that there is an 8% slope. Or do you understand what that means? Well, if there is an 8% slope, you better slow down, otherwise your car might slide off. Or if you're on a plane and if your pilot is telling you, oh, we're going to do a 45-degree descent, well, that's 45-degree descent. your pilot is doing that, you better be saying some prayers because I don't think you're going to survive this kind of descent. Okay, so make sure you understand what angles really mean. Okay, and we're going to be talking about that today. So we're going to measure angles with protractor. What is a protractor? Well, protractor measures the angle opening. So angles, it looks like a protractor, okay? You need to think about the opening. So how wide, if you can picture a door being open, okay? So if it's wide open, we say that's 180 degrees. If it's just tiny little bit open, it could be like 10 degrees open. So it's the measure of openness. And we can use a tool called protractor. This is a picture of a protractor. How do we use that tool? The tool is, the first thing is, you say you are trying to measure this angle here, the green angle. You need to match the vertex to be at the center of the protractor right there. Then you need to line up the bottom edge to be lined up. Okay, you can be this side or this side. You can line up either side, and depending on the angle it does not matter as long as you're using it appropriately. Okay, notice the fact that on the protractor there are two sets of numbers. Okay, so one number is going from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way to 180 degrees from left to right. What about the inside numbers? Inside set of numbers are going 0 to 180 degrees from right to left. Okay, so it really depends whether you're reading the numbers from the outside numbers or the inside numbers. Really depends on which side you're measuring from. So in this case, just think about this. When you're counting or when you're measuring something, you measure things from counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You never start counting down and say that 199 and so on and so forth. If you're measuring a length, you wouldn't start measuring downwards, would you? Okay, so you will start by 0 centimeters, 1 centimeters, 2 centimeters, and so on. So if you're measuring, you want to start with 0 going up, and in this case, it goes up all the way to 115 right here. So we do use the outside number, and that's 115 degrees right there. Okay, so please work on the Desmos card number 1 to 9 right now. Card number 1 is just to check in. Share about a bright moment that happened to you while we were away. Okay, share a moment that's happy, funny, or something else. Sketch a picture using a space on the left if you want. Okay, it can be happy thing or funny thing or anything else you want to share with your classmates. And I will share anonymously unless you specifically say, I don't mind sharing it with my name. All right, then card number 2, guess angle HOP. Okay, what does it mean HOP? Okay, H is here, O is here, and P is right there. That means we're looking for this opening right there. How big do you think this opening is? Remember, what do we know? We know that the right angle that goes straight up, right angle here, would look like 90 degrees. Okay, would be 90 degrees. So if I have a line right there, vertical line, we know that this is 90 degrees. So compared to this, what do you think this purple angle will be? Well, it's got to be definitely less than 90 because that's 90 degrees. Do you think maybe it's half? Maybe it's a third? What do you think? Okay, so make your best guess. Okay, and then you submit. Then you move on. All right, now this time we're going to try to measure that angle using the protractor. And there is a tool right there for you. And so what do I need to do? Okay, so your angle measure is this that you are trying to make up. So at the vertex, this vertex point O has to match up with this point right there. So you need to bring it so that it clicks and it matches up. Then you need to line up one of the side lines with the protractor. So here we go. Now it is lined up, right? Now, and then you start measuring. Okay, so now this time, should I be looking at the outside numbers or should I be looking at the inside numbers? When we're measuring, we always measure from 0. So we want the inside measure. Otherwise, you'll be measuring 180, 170, 160, and so on. So that's not what we want. We want 0, 10, 20, 25. So this is about halfway. And you can see that they have the little notches here. It is exactly halfway between 150 and 165. So in this case, it's between 20 and 25 halfway. So I would say measuring this, it is 25 degrees. And I submit that. All right, then this time try to guess the measure of BAM, measure angle BAM. Okay, so we are looking for this opening. How big do you think this opening is? Well, again, we know that a vertical line right there will be 90 degrees. Well, it's going to be smaller than 90 degrees. How much smaller? Well, maybe 65, maybe 70. It's up to you. Okay, make your guess. And then we're going to use our tool. Okay, remember when you're using mathematical tool, don't leave your brain behind. Your brain is a far more important tool than any other tool. Okay, so but the tools, any tools are supposed to help you. Okay, not make you not think. Okay, here we go. So we matched up the vertex with the vertex of the protractor, the center of the protractor. We need to line up one of the edges of the line. Okay, so to do that, I could do this or I could do this. Okay, either would be fine. All right, so if I was to use the outside number, I would be going from 0 to what do you think will be this angle here? I can see about this is 60, this is 70, this is 65, so maybe about 67. That's my guess. And submit. And I say get awesome. All right, so then eyeball angle TIP, TIP. Do you expect it to be bigger than 90 degrees or smaller than 90 degrees? Well, this looks, if I was to draw a 90 degrees, okay, it will look something like this. Okay, so that this angle here is 90 degrees. And this is 90 degrees, so you would expect this angle PIT or TIP to be bigger than 90 degrees. So my guess would be maybe 110, 115, something like that. Okay, and now this time I am going to try to measure it. I need to first bring my center of the protractor to be at the center of, or the vertex of the angle here. And then I need to line up one of the edges to be flush with the bottom of the protractor. Okay, now again, I need to be measuring from 0 here, right? So 0, so I should be using the inside numbers because the outside numbers are going down. That's not going to be helping me. It's the inside numbers. When you're measuring, you always start measuring from 0 all the way to whatever the number. Okay, so, and this tells me 110, 120, so it's right on 120. So my guess is 120 here. And submit. All right, and then card number 8, estimate angle, measure of angle sky, SKY. It is obtuse or it is greater than 90 degrees. So my guess might be 120, 130. And then you measure again. And again, by bringing the center of the protractor to match up to the vertex, then you move this. This is not going to be measuring, right? You need the measuring tool to be on the edge here. The line is flush, and looking at this, I count I should be looking at the inside number, and that would be 130 degrees.